Hey everyone, this is Sharon and Jamie from Sharonatsea, and we are here today to talk about The Key. That's right, The Key is a program at Royal Caribbean that gives you a few little extra perks throughout your cruise. It gives you some premier access to exclusive experiences throughout your cruise vacation. And we decided to purchase it on our Symphony of the Seas cruise we recently went on, and we're going to tell you all about it.
Okay, so as we mentioned, we just got done with our Symphony of the Seas cruise, which was amazing, by the way.
It was.
And we want to tell you guys a little bit about the experience that we had with The Key on Royal Caribbean. Now, one thing I will mention before we get started, hey, if you're into cruise news, cruise vlogs, cruise reviews, anything that has to do with cruising, we'd love for you to consider subscribing to the channel. Make sure that you hit the notification bell so you're always aware of new content that we put out. And make sure you join us Monday evenings, usually about 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, for our Monday night live show. But let's get back to the reason why we're here, to talk about Royal Caribbean's The Key.
All right, the first thing we're going to talk about, well, at the end we're going to tell you a little change that Royal has made to the Key program.
They did have a little change, didn't they? And they threw us a little curveball
right
at the end, so we'll tell you all about that and what happened with that deal.
All right, so the first thing is it includes priority embarkation. So you get to get on the ship early.
So if you've ever watched any of our vlogs before, you know that we love to get on the ship early. So this is a feature of The Key that we're very excited to take advantage of. Now, we have cruised on another cruise line, which will remain nameless, Carnival, and we've cruised with them quite a lot, and we do enjoy some benefits, which also include getting on early and other things like that. So we're definitely doing a little comparison between the two experiences. Now, our experience with Royal was that everyone was gathered together in one large group as far as being organized in the terminal prior to getting on the ship. There was no seating arrangement or anything. You were just kind of placed anywhere that you wanted to sit. And then all at one time, Royal announced that the Diamond Plus, which is the highest level, the Diamond, and then the folks with the Key were able to board the ship. It was announced all at one time. So everyone kind of made a mad scramble to get up and head for the door. Now, one thing that was cool was we had a pretty straight line to get towards the gangway. So we were probably one of the first 10 or 15 people onto the ship, which was cool for us. But if I was a Diamond Plus or Diamond person, I don't know how excited I'd be to watch these Key folks passing me up and getting on the ship before me, because those Diamond Plus and Diamond folks have certainly earned that level, with Royal Caribbean, and it's a perk that they definitely like to take advantage of. So we thought it was a little odd how it worked out, but for us, we loved it. We got on the ship early, so our experience was definitely a thumbs up with regards to early boarding to the ship, priority boarding, I should say. Now, another benefit of The Key is being able to drop off your carry-on luggage as soon as you get on the ship.
That's right, you can drop it off in a designated area and the staff will take it to your stateroom, and you don't have to lug it around until 1:30 when you can have access to your stateroom. So that's a really nice benefit. You're not lugging that carry-on around with you. One thing I will say is on this particular cruise on Symphony, there was no one standing around telling us where to take our luggage. We kind of had to ask and figure it out for ourselves, and then someone told us to take it to the Royal Theater. So we took it there, dropped it off, they put our room number on it. It was actually delivered into our stateroom before we got there at 1:30. One funny thing is they did put it into our closet, and so at first when we got in there, we didn't even realize it was in there till we opened the closet
door
and found it.
Something's missing.
But now this is with Symphony, it was the Royal Theater, and I think that's the same with most of the Oasis class ships. Now if you're on another class of ships with Royal, it may be a different designated area you're going to drop your luggage off. I'm not really sure. But that's just something you can find out when you get on board or ask ahead. But for us, it was the Royal Theater that we dropped our luggage off.
Yeah, and I don't want to be nitpicky, but we told you we're going to tell you about our experience and what we thought of it. Now, one thing that I was a little confused by, I guess, was there was no signage. There was no person there directing you or telling you what you should be doing if you had the Key program. As a matter of fact, we got on, walked around for a minute, saw no direction as to what to do, and then had to find somebody to say, hey, we have the key, what are we supposed to do with our luggage? And that's when they said, oh, you can go all the way forward and drop it off. Now we thought it was a little odd because we got on midship, we had to walk all the way to the forward of the ship to drop off our luggage and then come back and, continue to look for some fun stuff to do and start, exploring the ship. But we would have liked to see some kind of direction, some kind of signage or something saying, if you have the key, go here or something like that. So that was kind of missing, and we did have to go hunting for direction as to what we should be doing once we got on the ship.
Well, and we did have a paper in our room once we arrived, and it did explain all the benefits of the key program and what to do, and it did say where to take your luggage and everything on that paper.
Yeah.
But that was in our stateroom.
Sure.
And we didn't get that until after
that wasn't really
1:30.
helping, and we knew there was a benefit to drop the luggage, so we knew that was going on. But where to go, how to go about doing it, that was a little bit lacking. And I could see someone who was a brand new cruiser who hadn't cruised with any cruise line before getting involved with that and maybe being lost for a couple moments till they had to track someone down and ask them exactly what to do. So again, we're just telling you our experience, and you guys can make your own decision as to whether you think this is something that you want to take advantage.
Another benefit of the key is you get to have an amazing lunch once you get on board at either Chop's Grill or on our particular cruise, they also offer Jamie's Italian. I think on the Oasis class ships and some of the ships that have the Jamie's Italian, that's included as well. But anyways, you can head right there anywhere between 11:30 and 1:30. They'll serve you lunch, and we chose Chop's Grill because our son wanted steak, and so we went there, and it was amazing. I will say that was one of the best steaks I've ever had. We had the filet mignon. We all had the filet mignon, actually. And it was kind of a streamed down lunch menu. I will say there were 3 options for an entree. They were all great. There were some appetizers. They served some cute little breads. We all had an amazing dessert. It was great. We were stuffed after, and even though it was a streamed down menu, you would never know it was a streamed down menu. If I would have gotten that menu for a dinner, I would have been perfectly happy with dinner with that menu as well. That's how great it was. It was amazing. I can't say enough about it. That was a highlight of our key experience, one of our highlights.
It sure was. I mean, being able to eat at a specialty restaurant is fantastic. I mean, I think it's about a $20 a person value to go to Chopped, which is where we went for lunch, if you did it on your own. And Sharon mentioned the menu was missing a few of the regular items from their everyday lunch menu, but we never would have known it. The filet mignon. So not only was it steak, guys, it was filet mignon, and it was amazing.
It just melted in your mouth.
Yes, that was fantastic. And on a side note, I had the shrimp cocktail, and it was not the tiny little shrimp. These were some Colossus shrimps, and they were fantastic. So thumbs up on that deal. Totally enjoyed that experience, and it was tough to decide between Chops and Jamie's Italian.
It was.
We thought the Italian might get us a little overfilled if we dug into some pasta, so that's why we went to steak. And again, Matthew's a huge filet mignon kind of guy, so thumbs up on the Chops deal.
Yeah, that
great part of the program.
Really made our embarkation day. I mean, it really did.
Yes.
It's great.
Not to mention, you don't have to fight the masses up at the Windjammer Buffet, which is where most people seem to head on embarkation day. So that was a big plus as well.
The next included feature is the Boom Wi-Fi.
Boom.
That's right. One of the fastest at sea.
It definitely is. I mean, we've been on a number of cruises, and by far, the Wi-Fi on Royal Caribbean was, heads and tails above any other Wi-Fi we've experienced on any other ship. I mean, we were even able to do live streams on YouTube from our balcony during the cruise, which is amazing. I don't know that any other cruise ship is going to be able to offer that with that quality of Wi-Fi. Now, the Wi-Fi is usually about $15 a person per day, and with the package, with the key I should say, we were each able to have Wi-Fi for our own devices. So on another cruise line, we usually would purchase one device Wi-Fi, and then maybe split time between the three of us on that. Maybe I get online for a while and do something, Sharon might get online, even Matthew would get online and do something if he wanted to, and we go back and forth. But part of the key was that we each had full 24-hour access to the Wi-Fi for our own devices, and that was pretty nice. And being that we're involved with social media a little bit, and we like to post photos and talk about our experience, it really was a benefit. And if you have to do a little work from the ship, or you need to communicate with folks at home or anything like that, it is definitely a great benefit to have the Boom Wi-Fi.
Another included feature is priority departure in the ports from ship to shore. So that's great when you're getting off in the ports. If maybe you have an excursion, an early excursion, you don't have to wait in those long lines. You can just get right off, go to the front of the line. We actually didn't use this on our particular cruise, so we can't talk too much about it, I guess. But one day we stayed on the ship during a port day, and the other day when we went to get off, we walked down to the gangway and there really was no line. We just walked right off the ship, so
Yes.
we didn't need to use it. Royal Caribbean does have a great way that they just get people off the ship, and,
Sure.
and there just really isn't a lot of lines, which is amazing. So we did not really use that part of the program, but I will say if there was a long line in the gangway, I think that would be a pretty nice feature to take advantage of.
Okay, another pretty cool benefit that you get with the key is you get to have your own private time set aside to enjoy some of the activities on the ship. The flow rider, the zip line, the ultimate abyss slide,
The ice skating,
things like that. Those things can get pretty busy, especially on a day at sea, and you may not get the opportunity to use it if there's a long line and you don't want to wait. So on the paperwork that we got in our cabin, on the back of it, there were some times where it set aside an hour here and an hour there where you had priority access to these activities, and you could show up being someone that had the key, and only people that had the key were using those activities at that time. Now, because of how our cruise ran, because we did stay on the ship one day in the port, it wasn't a big deal for us. But if we had a longer cruise, a 7 or 8 day cruise or something like that, with a number of sea days, we could definitely see how that would be a big benefit if you're into those activities. The rock climbing wall, again, the flow rider. So if you like those things, then that's that feature is definitely a big plus as far as the key program goes.
Yeah, they would have, since there were 2 rock climbing walls and 2 flow riders, they would have one designated for the key and one for everyone else. So you could go to that particular location and
Sure.
get right on, not have to wait. All right, another great benefit is you get VIP seating at all the shows, whether it is in the main theater, on the Oasis class ships, the Aqua Theater, or Studio B. So they have priority seating set aside, so you just you go there, you sit in your priority seats, and you have an awesome view, one of the best views there. Now, you do need to make reservations ahead of time in your cruise planner to go to the show, even if you have the key program, and they do suggest you arrive about 15 minutes early for the show, because if you don't show up and the show's about ready to start, they may give your seats to someone that's in line for standby, because the standby line on our particular cruise was very long. So there were a lot of people waiting that did not book online to get into the show. And like I said, booking ahead of time in your cruise planner, that is something for the Oasis class ships. Some of the smaller ships you don't have to pre-book ahead of time, but the Oasis class, we highly suggest you do, because they get really filled up quickly.
Yes, and it's something where once you get there to the seating area, whenever you go into the show, you're going to go through and they will go ahead and check that you have a reservation. There's usually going to be 2 lines, reservations, no reservation. So you get in your reservation line and you jet right through that, and that's simple enough. And then they will guide you to where the seating is for the key. I believe it also includes seats for people that have suites, and I believe Diamond Plus as well get to be in this
usually
area.
In that same area.
And it's kind of neat. There is someone overseeing it. They are making sure that no one sits there unless they are eligible for those seats. And like Sharon said, they are really good seats, but they will go quick. As the shows were getting ready to start, we did see people coming up and inquiring about the seats, and I could even overhear them talking about the fact that they had the key, but the area was filled. And there's going to be more people with the key than there might be seats on any given show. So again, get there early, and then you can get some really nice seats with a great vantage point to get a great view of the shows.
All right, and one of the last things that is included in the key is a choice. They call it choice debarkation. Now it starts with a nice a la carte breakfast in the main dining room. There are a few selections on the menu to choose from. There's actually plenty to choose from on the menu.
Oh yeah.
We had a great breakfast in there. So you go there, you drop your luggage off outside of the dining room if you're carrying your own luggage off, and you go in, sit down, have a wonderful breakfast between 6:30 and 9:30 in the morning.
Yes. Now I will say this, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but main dining room breakfast is available for all passengers. But in this case, the folks with the key went to deck 4, and all other passengers were on deck 3. So it was a little exclusive, a little private. It was calm, it was quiet. And it was a really nice experience being able to go in there and enjoy a nice quiet breakfast.
Right. And this is kind of where the change comes into play. In the past, people we know that have used the key have been escorted off the ship from the main dining room. They've taken their luggage and someone has physically escorted them off the ship through customs, and they were off the ship in minutes. Now there has been a new change starting actually on the Symphony with our sailing. We finished breakfast. We thought that's what was going to happen for us. We inquired about it, and they said, there's no one there today to do this. And then we kind of said, so we just take our luggage and go there? Yeah. Then someone else kind of came up and said, well, we're not doing that anymore. And so I kind of asked, well, is this something on just the Symphony, or is it just the sailing? Is it, what's going on? They said, no, it's a change that has just happened recently, and it is fleet-wide.
Yes.
So for now on, once you finish breakfast, you are kind of on your own to grab your luggage and get off the ship, kind of like everyone else. There's no, I guess, priority going to the front of the line, going through customs with a private escort anymore. So that's a little change they made. And I can see why. I guess that probably would be a little time-consuming to have escorted everyone off.
But I'll tell you what, I was looking forward to a personal escort off of the ship, and we had heard it really bypasses a lot of stuff and makes it quick, efficient, and you're out of there in no time. And when they told us, like Sharon said, at first they said, sorry, we don't have any escorts available today. We're like, that's weird. Then they said, oh no, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that's even weirder, but okay. Now, luckily for us, it was a little later in the morning when we got off, and to be honest, debarkation was really smooth, and we were off of there in 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops. We're pretty much right through customs and out to the curbside. So it was an easy process.
Didn't really affect us. I mean, depending on what time you're getting off the ship, there may be some people where it may affect. You may get in a long line at customs and have to wait. For us, we had a pretty simple debarkation, and we were off pretty quickly. But that is a change that they have made recently, and I was told by the Symphony of the Sea staff that it is fleet-wide.
Yes.
So keep that in mind if you're going on a royal cruise and you're purchasing the key.
So now what is now choice debarkation? I believe this means you have your choice of leaving whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the choice debarkation now.
Right.
All right, so I know what you're thinking. You're saying, Sharon and Jamie, is it worth it? Was the extra money you paid for the key worth the experience that you had? Well, Sharon, what's the cost of it, and what kind of value do we think it created for us?
Well, at the time of this video, usually the key, depending on the ship and sailing, of course, is around $24.99 per person per day. But there are specials all the time in the cruise planner. If you're a Royal Caribbean cruiser, you know that the cruise planners have deals and sales on their excursions and their dining and all kinds of things in there. So with this as well, we actually received it at a discount for $19.99 per person per day, which for us, I felt it was worth it because since the Wi-Fi was $14.99 per person per day, it was only $5 extra per person per day for us to have the Chops Grill lunch, to have priority embarkation. And actually those three things, the Wi-Fi, the lunch, and the priority embarkation, those three things were probably the most meaningful, I guess, for us that we took advantage of. And right there for us, that was highly worth it. But for you, it really depends. Is the Wi-Fi something you normally get? If not, it may not be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like to get on the ship and just shut off the world behind them and turn the cell phones off, put it in the safe in the room and not even think about it. And if you're that person, then spending money on the key really isn't going to be worth it to you. But for all of us to have our own internet and just the potential for fighting, if you have a family that would fight over access to the internet, if you only had it for one device, just being able to use your own phone and get online whenever you want might be worth every penny that you pay for it. So if that's you, then spend the money and enjoy the key.
And another thing, we were on a 4-day cruise, so like I said, it was about $60 per day for our family for 4 days, which wasn't too bad. You know, if you're on a 7-day cruise, hey, that's almost twice as much. So that's so that may play a part in it as well.
Yes.
For the price. So that was our experience with the Key program. It wasn't perfect, but we enjoyed it, and we would definitely get it again. So that was our experience with the Key program. Hope it was helpful to you. It wasn't perfect for us, but we really enjoyed it, and we would definitely do it again. If you've purchased the Key program before, what are your thoughts? Was it worth it to you? Would you purchase it again? Post your thoughts in the comments below, and let's help all of our fellow cruising community out there. And once again, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing and click the notification bell so you will get notified when we post new content and go live. There you go. Until next time,
Happy cruising.
happy cruising.